All right, yo, Bootleg Kev Podcast, man. We're in New York City in a hotel room, just setting up shop, man. Chris Brickley is here.
Man, thanks for having me. I've watched so many interviews over the years, so this is kind of cool to be here.
Hey, it's cool to talk to you. It's crazy because I was already kind of hip to who you were. Like, I would see you on, like, because I follow a lot of just these hoop pages, you know? But what really kind of had me, like, dive into your shit was the Gary Vee interview. It was like 2 years ago, right? 2-3 years ago. It was a while ago.
19?
Yeah. And your come up, man, was so, like, inspirational for people. Because you were homeless for a second? Or was it like, because I think I remember, like, I mean, it's been since then, since it came out that I remember watching, but I remember, like, just hearing about, like, how you got, like, you were going to college, right?
Yep.
Give us a refresh on your come up, man.
Yeah, so, you know, I grew up in New Hampshire, small New Hampshire. You ever been to New Hampshire?
I might have, no, I haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, grew up in New Hampshire. You know, I played basketball. I was really good, top 100 in the country. Then ended up going to Louisville as a walk-on. So I played a little bit, but I knew I wasn't going to the NBA. Coach Pitino's the coach.
I was going to ask, is that Pitino years?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he has a huge coaching tree. So I'm like, I'm going to get into coaching. So, you know, I was the youngest Division I assistant coach in the country. You know, I did the coaching thing. Was with the Knicks. Player development, youngest NBA player development coach.
At Louisville?
No. So once I left Louisville, I was a GA at Ole Miss. That was my first stop.
Okay.
Then I was the youngest Division I assistant coach in the country at Fairleigh Dickinson in New Jersey.
Okay.
And then I landed the Knicks job. I was the youngest player development director. But like all these jobs, like in coaching, you don't make money like that. You know, even when I was with the Knicks, you make like $60,000. You live in New York, you cut that in half. Yeah. So you know, I did that for like 4 years, built a bunch of relationships, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start my own business. But I didn't really know exactly like how I was gonna do it. And then that summer was, I think, the summer you're talking about. I went through a little period where I didn't have a place to stay.
Right.
So I was just like maxed out all my credit cards. It was bad. I was like, damn, I shouldn't have left the Knicks because I had 2 more years left in the contract. Believed in myself though, and it's worked out.
Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't have voluntarily left a job with the Knicks.
Yeah. Nah, for sure. My family wasn't happy.
Yeah, so talk about that summer and you leave. What was like the, you know, because anytime I feel like anyone ever takes a chance on themselves, there's a breaking point where you're like, damn, did I make a mistake? Mm-hmm. Or, you know, before things start going the right way, what was that low point for you during that period?
Yeah, so, you know, so I left because me and Carmelo Anthony were super close. So I'm like, all right, so the last 4 summers, I'd meet LeBron, I met Katie, I met James, I met Russ. So I kind of knew him. I didn't have relationships with them, but I knew him. So I'm like, all right, if I leave the Knicks, I think I could like start a training business. You know, so I left the job. That's health insurance. You know, it's the whole, you're leaving a good job. So I left, and then I'm thinking like right off the bat, I'm gonna be able to. LeBron's just gonna come to my gym and KD, and it didn't work like that right off the bat. You know, it took a minute. It took a little bit, and so you know, I think like a few months in, middle of the summer, I'm like, damn, I don't know if I made the right decision. Like I really don't know if I wasn't making any money. Right. It was a struggle, and then that was when I came up with Black Ops, and I started doing these 5-on-5 games, and then that kind of like changed my life. Like, you know, put together these pickup games that arguably, you know, some of the greatest pickup games ever. Yeah,
kind of let me know what, like with the Black Ops thing with the 5-on-5 pickup games.
So Black Ops is like my business. I work out elite NBA guys, and I do these 5-on-5 runs in the summer. So LeBron comes through, KD. You know, I've had like 25 All-Stars. I've had the last 7 MVPs. Like everyone comes through, and it's exclusive. It's dope. The media loves it, and yeah.
So I guess that's kind of for people who don't know, you're like the it trainer in basketball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's, you know, as you know, when you're in it, you don't think that, but for sure.
Yeah, I think what some people don't understand is like, if you're LeBron, if you're Melo, because I always remember seeing Melo was in with you heavy when he wasn't like back in the league yet, you know? Yeah. And you have, you know, especially if you're on an NBA roster, right? Like there's coaches on those rosters. You were one of them, right? Why go to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I study the game. I know the game, and I know how to understand people. I know what motivates James, and I know what motivates Melo, and you need to figure that out. Otherwise, they're not going to talk to you. You could try to coach them. It's going to go in one ear, out the other. So you need to build a relationship with them. You need to study the game. And at this point now, I have like such a big name within basketball. I can almost like work with who I want, which is like a super blessing. I try and like super thankful because just 3 years ago, I was hoping I could get just 3 guys a day type stuff. So life's really changed. It's and then I was the first trainer ever to be in NBA2K, so I have my own character.
Yep.
First trainer to sign a sneaker deal. Just doing things that trainers have never done, just trying to like inspire kids that if you don't make the NBA, you could be like me.
Yeah, because, I think like people don't understand like the full grind of getting to the NBA. Like just because you didn't make it to the league. And we think about this with coaches too, right? Like a lot of coaches like may not have even been great in the NBA. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But that doesn't mean that you don't know the game. That doesn't mean that you don't know like the technique. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like for the disconnect for people who are watching this, they're like, yo, why the fuck would LeBron James go train with this white boy? Like, you know what I mean? Like what talk about the skill set that you bring to the table. Like what are you helping these guys work on?
Yeah, so I guess one of my specialties is Melo has great footwork, right? So when I was with the Knicks, I started learning his footwork. And then guys would come to me being like, I want some of Melo's footwork. So got Kawhi Leonard, got KD. I got, so I specialize like in that mid-post area, just with like footwork, moves. And then, working with James, I kind of learned a whole nother. So when you work with like these superstars, I'm learning from them and they're learning from me. It's like a two-way street. So then when I work with like the regular NBA guy, I have so much knowledge that it really helps. But with the superstars, we're both learning from each other.
With James Harden, like he's somebody who I've been following since college when he was at ASU. And I love watching James Harden play. Now, there's some people who hate watching James Harden. I would say that he's probably one of the more polarizing guys in the league.
For sure.
It's like him and Westbrook.
For sure.
Like when you watch the sports TV shows, they either love him or they hate him. It's
facts. He's changed the game. Like just the way he plays it off the bounce. So what the haters say, he dribbles too much. He travels. But really, he's been extremely creative and he's kind of revolutionizing the game as far as how to play off the bounce. No one can stop him.
Well, yeah, that step back is something that everyone mimics now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Was that something that like you would notice when you were like training with him, or you'd be like did you like help him fine tune that a bit?
No. So what he's big on in the workouts is he likes to. He's like, all right, Chris, just throw me like. He wants me to give him like super hard moves, like instead of working on one move, it would be like 4 moves at once. So his big thing is like just try and challenge me as much as possible with the ball. So once the game comes and I have one man in front of me, doing one move is easy. So I think James could be MVP in my opinion
this year. Yeah. Well, listen, man. Embiid got injured, and I think he was probably the favorite. LeBron's out.
Yep.
He was probably the second guy.
Yeah. And
I think now it's either Harden or Jokic.
Yeah. Jokic is nice.
Jokic is a beast. Yeah. Or, if they'll stop hating on my Phoenix Suns, give Chris Paul and Devin Booker a look is what I'm saying.
Yo, they're playing good.
They are, man. They are.
Good.
Yeah. Out of everybody you've trained, like, who would you consider to be, like, your closest friend? Like someone who because some people, you work with them, they're associates, it's all love, but like when the training stops, it's like, cool, I'll see you next time. For sure. Then you have friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I would have to say it's like a mix. I would say, Melo, Donovan Mitchell, D'Angelo Russell, J.R. Smith. I would say those guys.
With Melo, you were training with him a lot. A lot of videos were like coming up on my timeline when he was not on a roster, when everyone was counting him out.
For sure.
And that was obviously a huge mistake.
Yeah, it was. Man, I went in the Breakfast Club one time, and I said, I think Melo, this is when he wasn't in the NBA, I said, I think that Melo's better than 60% of the NBA right now. The media, destroyed me. I thought I was going to get canceled. And 4 months later, this guy's starting in the NBA, which means if you're an NBA starter, you're better than 60% of the league. So it's funny how the media works. Melo's back year 18. He's playing great this year.
Yeah, man. I think that just shows you with Melo, this guy's one of the most prolific scorers in NBA history. Like,
Sure. Top 10.
yeah, and like he never had any like crazy injuries or anything. I think people just thought like the league had moved past what he does, and it's like that's not. He just ended up in shitty situations with Oklahoma City and Houston. Like Mike D'Antoni did not fuck with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'm glad he got that second chance, man.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest misconception about someone like Carmelo Anthony?
I personally hate it when someone's like, all right, because he didn't win a ring, then I'm going to, not give him the credit for, some people are on that. And I understand for your legacy, but at the end of the day, you know how many people play in the NBA? I think he's 9th all time, scorer of all time. Like, he's done some amazing things. He hasn't won a ring. Hopefully he will win a ring, but you shouldn't be judged just off a ring.
Yeah, I think like you said, how many, like when you really break down how many people have rings compared to the people who have played in the league, it's insane. I even think during our era, like the last 20 years, it's been harder than ever to get a ring.
These super teams, right?
It was. I mean, look, even if you go back to like when the Celtics got Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, that was to me the first. That was like the first super team of this era.
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh, in free agency, they just went and got a big 3, and then they won the ring year 1.
Facts.
Yeah,
that was the beginning of it.
And then the Spurs had a dynasty, which and then of course there was the Lakers, and and then the Heat, and then the Cavs, and then the Warriors. Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. You also fuck with a lot of rappers, so some of these pickup games you be having are like the who's who of hip hop running up and down the court.
For sure.
Now, the guy who I have always heard, now I've seen Quavo play. Quavo, obviously he hooped for that Bleacher Report shit and did his thing. But the guy who I always hear is the best is Cole.
Yeah, no, hands down.
Is So you're saying Cole, out of all the hip hop artists, rappers,
not even close.
It's J. Cole. J. Cole's the best.
And so, before COVID, we worked for like 6-7 straight months. Me and J. Cole, just working on his shot. Working, he would religiously, I think he'd go to the studio during the day, and at night we would work out like every night. And then he started playing in the Black Ops NBA runs. So I'd be 9 very good NBA players, and he'd be on the court, and he was playing really good. And he can really hoop. That's not even close as far as like that's some good rappers that are good, but he could like
hang with
play overseas right now. He could, he's worked on it, and he's good.
Yeah, when someone puts that much time and effort, like you said, for however many months, they must be serious about trying to get better at basketball.
Yeah.
There's been rumors that he might be trying to make a run to get in the league. Is that something that he's got that that like might be maybe on his goal list?
Yeah, I can't speak for him. Maybe. I guess we'll see.
I mean, the Pistons, man, we'll see. I think there's a few teams that could literally use anybody, and the Pistons are one of them.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, but
it hasn't happened since Master P.
He's better than Master P.
He's better.
I've seen I've seen Master P clips.
Is he better than any NBA players you've trained? You don't got to tell me who.
No, so I would say so. Let's be honest. So if he were to be a pro, he'd be a shooter, right? He's a better shooter than
some of the guys,
for sure.
So he'd be a spot up shooter.
He'd be a shooter.
JJ Redick.
Yeah, he'd be that type of. Except JJ Redick was really good with moving out the ball. I think he'd just be more of like a spot up shooter.
Cole would be I'm trying to think who else. He'd be Kyle Korver in the corner.
He had 6-7 game winners in the Black Ops games, and like the NBA guys would be so pissed like every time he'd do it because they were really trying, and he'd be hitting game winners. He has ice in his veins. Wow,
that's crazy. With basketball right now, there's obviously COVID has been happening this last season and this season. Has the COVID shit like affected your business at all? Like players, like what kind of protocols they got to go through to do outside training and shit like that?
For sure. This past off season wasn't regular. Like I couldn't do as many workouts as I wanted. I couldn't do the 5-on-5 runs. But thank God to just everything that's, signing these deals. I've been blessed to over this COVID period to
still
sign
sustain
with Body Armor and Lids and StockX, and so I'm thankful.
Break down some of these deals you're talking about, man. You just ran through some big brands.
Yeah, so I mean, it's shout out my manager Alex Koblenz, kind of changed my life. But yeah, no, it's crazy. Sometimes I'm getting these deals, and we'll be on the phone, and I'll be like, "Oh, you just got this deal over these 3 NBA guys," and I'm like, "Damn!" I'm like getting These deals that NBA guys is crazy to me. Still is.
Like you're getting deals that they over them. So essentially, instead of them getting the deal, you got the deal.
Yeah.
As the trainer.
Yeah. And which is really cool. That was never the goal though, but it's just happened like that. I've had my own bowl at Chipotle. That was cool. So you could go to Chipotle across the country and get the Chris Brickley bowl. That was fire. I had a StockX deal. I have a lids deal.
When you say you have a lids deal, they give you your own hat or like what is that?
Yeah, so I design like 2 hats that come out across the world. So I own Colorblind. It's like a clothing company. So, we made some hats with them. I'm in NBA2K. Just signed a deal with Body Armor, which is cool. Puma. We had StockX. Wilson. So I actually have my own like training balls with Wilson, which is fire.
My man got his own basketballs.
Yeah, it's dope.
That's crazy. That is crazy. With the next generation, because there's always, I be around Ethica a lot in Orange County, and they always have at their location, they always have all these high school kids.
It looks like a warehouse, right? With the
Yes.
court. I've seen that.
Yeah. So there's always like all the young high school kids always there, and some guys train there as well, but I know that with AAU and just kind of the way the game has been, it's been a while since the AAU shit has kind of taken over. Like we already know who's probably going to be like the next it dudes in the league, as long as they don't fuck up. Yeah. Do you work with a lot of those like the younger kids, whether it's high school kids or like kids in college?
Yeah, that's actually my number one focus. Like I don't, you wouldn't know by my social media, but like my number one thing is getting like the number one 8th grader in the country, 9th grader, 10th grader, 11th grader, 12th grader. So then I build that relationship. So then when they become NBA players, we have that relationship. So yeah, I'm big on that. I'm huge on that.
Yeah, I think like I think Slam just had like 3 or 4 variant covers with like all kids in high school.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. Like,
some of these kids are huge. Mikey Williams from LA. Some of these kids have like 5-6 million followers. They're like sophomores in high school.
Yep. Yeah. I think the first guy I kind of noticed like that was like that was when he was in high school was Zion.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this fucking dude. I was looking at his highlights in high school.
Facts. And LaMelo Ball was in that. There's
LaMelo. Yeah, yo, it's crazy we talk about LaMelo because I think LaMelo is somebody who there were so many doubts, and I don't know if you ever worked with him, but I'm sure as a fan you watched probably some of his tape. Did you have an idea that he would be as fire as he is in the league?
I'd be lying to you. No, I didn't. I didn't because he played overseas. He played in that GB. He never really played in any like giant platform against really good players, so I didn't know. And then the NBA is made for him. He's great in the open court. He can shoot it. I think he's going to be a superstar. He kind of already is.
Yeah, he kind of is, man. Like they just put out that ESPN just put out that controversial list where he was like number 3 overall, and I was like, bro, Book is number 8.
I've seen that.
Have you ever worked with Devin Booker?
I have. Yeah, he's came to some Black Ops runs. We've worked out individually. He's just such a professional. I was
gonna say, because I'm a Suns fan, and I think he don't get enough love when it comes to. I mean, LeBron just called him the most disrespected player in the game right now. What do you feel about Book? Like working with him, like you've seen him, like how good do you think he can be, man?
Sky's the limit. I mean, he can score as good as anyone. He's so smooth. He can shoot it. He can penetrate. He plays D. He's and he does it every season. He's like he averages.
His defense has gotten so much better
for sure.
The last few years.
No, I love his game.
Hey, what up, man? Had to interrupt the Bootleg Kev Podcast to tell you about our good friends at Odd Socks. All right, yo, shout out to them for sponsoring the podcast, but also for being such a fire company. And they just introduced their draws. That's right. Odd Socks now got your boxer briefs on deck. Some Tapatio joints. And then, of course, they got the best socks in the game. Look at these Stone Cold socks. Look at these two. I mean, look. I love Fruit Loops, but I love these Fruit Loops socks. These are fire. I'm taking those for myself. They got all the licenses, Breaking Bad, Mac Dre, ODB, WWE, Street Fighter, whatever you want, they got, including these draws. I love these draws. I got some on right now. So listen, tap in with Odd Socks. Go to oddsocksofficial.com. Use the keyword Bootleg Kev, and you will save 20% off at checkout. So oddsocksofficial.com, keyword Bootleg Kev, save 20% at checkout and thank me later. So who do you think is in the league that might not necessarily be showing their greatest potential because they might be in a situation that's a bad fit for them?
I mean, I have a few, and you're right. The league's all about opportunity. Like there's guys that are, and even just getting to the league. There's a lot of guys that are overseas that should be in the league. There's a lot of guys that have a coach in the NBA that believe in them, and maybe if they didn't, they wouldn't even be in the league. The league's crazy. You know Emmanuel Quickley of the Knicks?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Emmanuel Quickley, yeah.
So he's having a really good season, but, Tibbs is like an old school coach, so he's playing him like 18 minutes a game as a rookie. If he was playing like 30, 35 minutes a game, I think he would be, up there for Rookie of the Year. That's one. Mo Bamba of the Magic, I feel like he doesn't get
I don't feel like he's ever gotten an opportunity.
Yeah, he just hasn't really played many minutes. He's been injured too.
Right.
I think that's one. Let me give you one more. This is a good question. I would have to say just in a better so Jalen Brown, right? So he's already like really good.
Yeah.
But I feel like if he wasn't on the Celtics, wasn't playing with Tatum, I feel like he could be like MVP type good.
Really?
Yeah. He does it all.
That's big, man.
He does it all. I mean,
they also have like common like their games are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like he's they're both wings.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only so much like.
And Tatum gets more of the shine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think.
Wow, Jalen Brown, you think could be an MVP, huh? He's that good.
Yeah, for sure.
He's trained with you?
Yeah, and I'm not even saying it just because he's trained. He's the real deal.
Wow, that's crazy. What about someone who's retired that you think could still just pick up the shoes and just jump right into the league and just shake shit up?
That's a good question. I would have to say retired, right?
Retired, yep. Not playing, or even maybe
Brandon Jennings retired. I mean, I think
Brandon
Jennings should be in the NBA. He played 8 years, and
he was good with the Bucks.
He got the little injury, but then he came out. I think he should be. Obviously, J.R. Smith's not retired. He should be in the NBA. Let me give you a better one. I would have to say, you know what? Give Baron Davis like
B. Diddy
2 months, and I feel like he could play in the NBA.
Yo, it's crazy you mentioned Brandon Jennings because I feel like he's one of those players that I always think like, what if? I think about that with him. I think about OJ Mayo.
Yeah.
OJ Mayo was fire.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like a few of those guys. What was Ty Lawson? You know what I'm saying? Like
Facts.
Guys who are in the league that like just some shit happened or injury or off the court shit. And it's like they were so good. Like
Brandon Jennings is doing his thing now. He has a tough crowd.
I have no idea what's going on with Brandon Jennings.
Big time clothing company, one of the most popular up and coming clothing companies, and he's doing his thing.
In your opinion, because you're close to the NBA, obviously you watch basketball. If I'm asking you this question, assuming everybody's healthy.
Okay.
So we're not factoring anyone who's injured right now. Let's say the playoffs come, everyone's healthy at 100%.
Okay.
Who do you got to win the ring?
The Nets.
The Nets.
Yep. Hands down.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Even against the Lakers.
I just don't see someone beating Kyrie Irving, KD, James Harden, Blake Griffin in a
Aldridge.
7-game series. Yeah.
Aldridge,
Harris. They just a really good team.
I think the only thing that they might be lacking is who's going to guard AD.
Yeah. No, for sure. And then obviously they need to get along.
Yeah, they got to get along.
Them three haven't really been healthy for that.
All three of them haven't played together at once. Like I think maybe it was like 6 games.
Yeah,
maybe
only a few games. So I mean, but off talent though, two guys can have a bad game.
I just don't know how you can outscore the Nets. Like they don't even. I look at it like they don't even got to fucking play defense. Like you got to outscore them.
Facts. Facts.
Like someone's gonna be open.
Facts. I got them.
They always say that Kyrie's at least, and this has been going around a lot lately. Now that people are all hot on Kyrie again because people were shitting on Kyrie for so long, and I never understood it. But I've never seen anybody with a better handle than Kyrie. And lately, the narrative of him being the most skilled player of all time has been getting thrown around. Have you worked with Kyrie?
I haven't.
But like you watch him, is that something that like, cause I like watching his highlights in slow motion.
Yeah.
Cause you could really appreciate what Kyrie Irving does.
The way he reacts.
It's art.
His handle. Yeah, no, arguably you could say like pound for pound, he's the most skilled player of all time. What can he do? He can shoot it. He can dribble. He has good footwork. He finishes. The other day he dunked on someone. I mean, I don't know what he can't do.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Facts.
Who do you think is the most slept on player that you work with? Because I've seen you were working with CJ McCollum, right?
Yeah, I would say CJ McCollum. I think year in and year out, he averages like 25 a game. Never been an all-star.
Had a crazy year before he got injured.
Yeah, I think he would have been all-star this year if he and he always kills in the playoffs. You know, I think if he wasn't with Dame and he was on another team,
Hey,
he'd be all-star. Maybe I could have answered that.
it could have been CJ.
Yeah,
That's some real shit. Yeah.
he's nice.
Yeah, no, I think his the way he started this season was like, I was like, oh my God, the Blazers are gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
Like if they're getting that out of him, like
yeah, man.
you worked with him this past offseason?
Yeah, I've worked with him for like 7. So I worked with him, you know, after his rookie year, after like right around then. So I saw him sign his first $100 million deal. Next summer, worked just as hard. Then I just seen him sign his second $100 million deal. So I've seen it, the whole come up, and that guy works hard, man. We would go double sessions, two workouts for like 4 straight months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a player who you trained up and then they got that big deal and they kind of threw you a little bonus? Like, hey, yo, I appreciate you, bro. Hey, this for you.
Yeah, a few guys for sure. I never asked either though, but yeah, a few guys
Like, can you tell us who?
have looked out. Nah, I wouldn't want to do that, but I've gotten a S550. Someone's bought me that player.
Wait, someone bought you a Benz?
Yeah, I got I have a Rolex, a bunch of jewelry. That's like their favorite thing. They want to buy. Yeah,
Someone bought you a fucking car?
yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
But that was like years and years of grinding, and they got a life-changing type contract.
And then they were like, yo, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for whatever you contributed.
For sure.
That's crazy. Man. Is that like, do you have to pay the taxes on the car?
Yo, that's so funny you said that, because at the time, I'd really just started making money like the last 2-3 years.
Right.
So when this happened, I was like, damn, the insurance stuff.
The repairs.
All of that.
Yeah.
So, I was, that kind of like messed me up a little bit, but I did. Yeah, I had to pay the insurance and, pay the regular stuff, but he paid the car off completely. So that was cool.
Wow. Hey, man, that's crazy. Talk about, because I'm a big proponent on betting on yourself. And, I always tell people who are extremely talented, like, yo, a lot of times we look at entities and companies that are in our field, and we look at them as like our barometer of what success is. Same way like you, with anybody who would have gotten to the Knicks would have just been happy to be there and would have been like, I gotta grind this out as long as possible. And you left voluntarily, betted on yourself. Just talk about how important that is, that mentality, because I feel like it is imperative for people who are talented and hungry to realize that success is not, it's not always what you think it is. Like, you know what I mean?
Facts. Man, I think it's huge. I think there's just so many things that come with betting on yourself. Like, I feel like people that, also there's a lot of people that say they bet on themselves, but you can tell by their actions that they really don't. I think when you really believe in yourself, you have like a confidence about you and what you do. And like that that, like, I know when I don't care who you put on the court with me, I know that I'm going to get him better. I know I'm going to study his game and figure it out. So it kind of gives you like this confidence. And I feel like in life, when you don't have confidence in what you do, people can see that, and it's just not going to work out. So just believing in yourself is everything. And you only need one person to believe in you too. Like, that's another thing. As you're coming up, you can be believing in yourself, and 30 people might say like, nah, you're not it. But, you get that one GM from the Knicks that wanted to give me that job, and then you make the best of it, So I think we live in a society where people, especially with like Instagram and all that, we're trying to win over everybody. It's impossible. That's, I think it's just focusing on just being the best you, and someone along the way is going to see that and give you an opportunity. And when you get the opportunity, you need to be ready.
You talked about studying people's games, right, and helping them. Like, I'm confident I could study someone's game. And what is something that specifically you've done for a player where you were like, hey, I've watched a bunch of tape. We just started working together. Or we've been working together. I can help fix this.
So I guess with Donovan Mitchell, this is like, I worked with him for a number of off seasons, but every off season we have like a new goal. And so, I'm going to get technical on you. So he's really good at dribbling left and shooting.
Yeah.
And when he dribbled right and pulled up, his percentage is way lower. So we worked on him just the whole summer, just working on picking the ball from the right and shooting. And his like shooting percentage went really high. I think CJ McCollum, we worked really hard one summer. He got most improved player. That was cool. there's been a few times where like we've worked on specific stuff, and every offseason, every player. I'm not just out there like people think, oh, he's just throwing them through drills. Like, no, we're working on stuff,
specific things. Yeah. I mean, I think like the main thing that like from like a general and like basketball fans perspective, we always think of like guys who like have broken shots or can't shoot free throws, and it's like, I think someone like Donovan Mitchell's like a perfect example. Like when he came in the league, I feel like no one looked at him like he was a 3-point shooter. Mm-hmm. He was very like, you kind of thought of him like D Wade, mid-range game, taking it to the basket. Yeah. But the last 2 years, he's launching them things.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? For
sure.
And like, is that the hardest thing to do? Is to try to? I'm not saying you did that with Donovan, but I'm saying in general to try to fix someone's shot.
Yes, that's the hardest thing to do, for sure. And because so much comes with that, like you're fixing their shot, but then like their confidence starts to waver. Because to fix your shot, you're gonna become a worse shooter for a little bit, and then you become a better shooter, and guys can't handle that. So what happens is you have your shot, you try and change it. They're like, man, forget this. I'm going back to my old shot, because they're not patient enough to understand that it's a process, and you become a better shooter after. So that's definitely.
Who's someone who you helped fix their form, fix their shot? Is there anybody that you could talk about?
Make like tweaks. I mean, a bunch of guys we've made tweaks, just like little tweaks. But J. Cole. If we're talking, that was like the biggest project I've ever had to do in my life. Those like 3 months, he used to shoot up here. We completely changed his shot, and that's like the best thing for a coach to do: change someone's shot. But
and then it works.
Yeah, it works. A good shooter.
Andre Drummond needs to hire you.
Man, that's my guy too. We need to work.
We got to work on the free throws, man.
Thanks.
Because I'm afraid that he's not going to see a lot of playing time in the fourth quarter if the Lakers, could go on a run.
Free throw line liability.
Yeah, facts, man. What's next for you? Because obviously, you could pretty much do whatever you want at this point. But like, what is like on your like goal list? Like, how do you want to build out the company? What are the other things that you want to try to do in the future, man?
Yeah, so I mean, just keep building out this Black Ops thing. I look at every summer like an album. So I left the Knicks 4 years ago, and take COVID out, I've had like 4 like amazing albums that no one's ever done as far as like the pickup games. So like one off season is an album. The guys I've worked out, the guys I've gotten better. So I want to have 15 more of those albums. I'm just getting started with that. And then, outside of basketball, I'm doing I have an album coming out. I'm like producing an album.
Speaking of albums, you got an album coming out.
For sure. I'm super excited about that, called Welcome to the Grind. Remember Jock Jams back in the day? So it's gonna be like the hip hop Jock Jams. It's gonna be, music that you can work out to. I want it to be like the theme music for all hoopers. I got, Little Baby on it, Dirk, Meek, Fab, Travis.
You got Travis Scott on the album?
Yeah, Trey Songz.
Jesus Christ!
Did you have to pay any Boogie?
Did you have to pay any of these people?
Yeah. So I'm in like the process of that, but I'm doing it independently. The artists are gonna be able to keep ownership of the song.
I was gonna ask you, like, with those, like, do they do it and then you gotta, like, they do it on the strength?
No, the honest truth is actually been the biggest stress of my life in the last few months. So I'm so cool with all these artists that we'll go to the studio, they'll make the song
right
here, and
then you got to deal with the rest.
The label,
the business, the management, the label,
so
getting it cleared.
I got all the songs. It's just the labels. These labels, they don't respect me. I'm a basketball trainer. So just waiting on these people at the labels to sign off on it, to give the clearances. To, it's just a headache, man. But it's gonna be fire. The album's gonna be fire.
I mean, that's a DJ Khaled-esque lineup.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna do it.
That's crazy. He said Travis Scott. Ain't nobody getting no Travis Scott features out here. Shit. That's wild. What about Cole?
So, it's funny. That's the one guy that I reached out to about it, and he's in album mode.
Right.
So he's like, he wants the next music that he drops, he wants it to be
his shit.
Album. Yeah. So I understood that.
Is he still actively training with you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're still training. I go to North Carolina like a week. So not as much, obviously, as like a regular off season, but yeah, he's still training, and he's getting his album done.
Do you think he has a serious chance to make an NBA roster?
I don't know. If he keeps improving, there's a chance for sure.
At least maybe a summer league roster.
Yeah, for sure.
Summer league for sure.
For sure.
It's crazy. Like the whole summer league thing is like, it's became its own thing, and that was one of the things I really missed this past year.
Yeah. No, Summer League.
Summer League was the shit, man.
Facts. That's like that's fun for fans. It'll be back this summer.
Yeah, definitely. Well, shit. You got so much shit going on. Albums coming out hopefully soon.
Yeah.
I know how hard that is, though.
Yeah, June. I want it to come out.
You said a lot of big names, so you got to talk to a lot of all the red tape with some of the like in general. Like you said, it's so easy to get the record out the studio and get it on your phone and in your email, but to actually drop it,
for sure,
there's a lot more that comes with that. Can you see yourself ever going back to coaching in the NBA or on a college level ever?
For sure. I think I would want to be like a GM, actually, kind of run a team just with the relationships I have, understand the game. That'd be cool. I'd be an NBA assistant coach, maybe. But right now, I'm making so much they couldn't pay me enough. I'm making more money than
they could
NBA
pay
assistant for sure. So
it would have to be something where you were like, all right, like this is something I want to do.
yeah, exactly. But I would love to be like a head coach one day.
A GM would be crazy. I always, because we all play 2K and we always make trades and
That'd be dope. I
think GM would be insane.
That's I would like that.
What? Hey, in your opinion, let's say you're a GM, right? Pick a team. What's a trade that you think should have happened in the offseason that didn't happen? The one I think of was like, yo, how did Kyle Lowry not get fucking traded? He was walking back to the locker room crying like he was like it was his last Raptors.
Oh, you're saying
game.
in this like prior?
Yeah, I'm talking about this year. We just had the trade deadline pass. What was the trade you think needed to happen, man?
Man, that's a good question. I don't know. I can't even answer that. I want the Knicks to get someone else. The Knicks are like, I'm a big Knicks.
That's your team.
Yeah, so they're like in the playoff run. Julius Randle's an all-star. I want them to get like another all-star caliber player.
I was thinking they might fuck around and try to get Russell Westbrook, to be honest.
They were trying to get CJ McCollum too. They were trying to, there were Devin Booker rumors.
Never.
Leon Rose is.
I know about it, Leon. I'm aware.
But
with the 2 seed, bro. You cannot have Book.
The Suns are cooking.
He's finally winning. Yeah, let me get your opinion on the Suns. What's your opinion on what the Suns have done this year?
Playing great. I think CP and Book are like a tough combination. I think I like DeAndre Ayton too.
What do you think is missing with Ayton? Because I think I watch Ayton and sometimes I get frustrated because I feel like he's not as aggressive and not as like
skill set. I think like around the rim. I think the other night like Shaq was talking about it. He should have just done a little lefty hook and instead he shot and got blocked. Just have skills. Have a lefty hook, have a righty hook, have an up and under, stuff like that.
I'll pay 5% of his training costs if we can get DeAndre in this offseason to come train with you and fix
That's my guy too, man. I need that.
Seems like the sweetest dude.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, seems like a real nice dude, man.
Facts.
I just sometimes I'm like, dude, you have to, impose your will.
Yeah.
I want him to dunk on people and scream at them. You know what I'm saying?
Have like that dog in him.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, man. Well, look, go follow him on Instagram. You got a real dope story, and congratulations on all the success, man, because I think that anybody can look at what you've done. Are you ever planning on writing a book or anything?
Yeah, that's in the works for sure.
I think anybody can look at your come up and apply it to their own lives in any field or any, whatever they're doing.
I appreciate that.
So,
Thanks, man.
Hey, it was nice to link with you.
Means a lot.
And hopefully we'll see you, on an NBA bench one day. Yeah, or not. Honestly, fuck that. You don't need that. Straight up. Like we're talking, you don't need that shit. You'll do that if you want to.
Yeah.
Boom.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Thanks. Appreciate you.